Hey Stansell team, it's Angelica and welcome to the second episode of the Stansell Blueprint. I first want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in to our first ever podcast about execution with urgency. It was so wonderful to get the positive feedback and to just witness how many of you are bought into our mantra for this year and in the direction that Stansell is going. Today, I am joined by our wonderful HR manager, Hayley, and we are going to be chatting about all things wellness program for this year. We're going to talk about resources, benefits, how you can get involved, and talk a little bit about her story, maybe a little bit about my story, and really dive into all things wellness. Before we get started, I wanted to share why we have a wellness program, just a little insight into that. So, when I became CEO about 3 years ago, one of the things I wanted to implement was a wellness program. It was super important to me to have something like that at Stansell for myself, but for all of you. But when I first started implementing it, I was shocked at how little there was about health and wellness in the construction industry. It's not something that's talked about. And you would think in an industry that tops the charts of the highest suicide rates, highest mental health issues, highest rates of obesity and diabetes, and like all these things, that it would be talked about more. And it's just not. But while we can't change the industry, we can impact Stansell and impact our people. So that's why we have implemented a wellness program, not so that, we are successful or whatever. It's about you guys and making sure that you're happy, you're healthy for yourselves and for your families. So, with that, let's dive into this conversation and welcome Hayley. Can you tell us a little bit about your wellness journey?
Absolutely. So when I started here in 2022, it by no means was a priority of my wellness or how I was feeling, what I was eating, working out. I had a 1-year-old, learning a new position, learning a new industry,
Yeah.
took up a lot of my time. Also, just chasing around your 1-year-old will take up a lot of your
Yeah,
time.
right.
And then, last year went through a lot of personal stuff. Avery's 3, so, she's a little bit older, but still got to run around and chase her. So just one day kind of woke up and I was like, enough's enough. And I wanted to feel better. And I wanted to be able to be there for my daughter and keep up with her. So really started to focus on my eating. And then slowly add in working out. It was not easy by any means because with social media nowadays, it's easy to end up on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Again, with 2000s diet culture too, you got that embedded in your brain of you only have to eat kale and you only have to eat chicken and rice, and that's all you get. There's no fun stuff. There's nothing. So what I ended up doing was I actually ended up on the right side of social media and just really focused on how I was properly feeling my body. And number one, I wasn't because, I wasn't focused on how many times a day am I eating. It was just whatever I can get, awesome, great, and that just wasn't the right mindset to have.
Right.
Through that, I focused on my eating, staying in a calorie deficit, and then started to add in working out, very slow, 1-2 days a week. Going slow was probably the best thing I could have done because it made it easier to maintain.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, I ended up losing a total of 30 pounds, and it was very exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think the biggest thing, with people thinking about getting on a wellness journey is like they feel like it has to be like an all-in kind of thing. Like it's not a journey. It's a all or nothing. And that's scary for some people. It's like, oh, I feel like I have to eat the chicken and rice and the kale, or I have to go to the gym 5 days a week. But it's like, no, you can ease yourself into it. Can you talk a little bit about the adding versus subtracting and how you implemented that?
Yeah, so it's basically eat what you want, but add what you need. So basically, you add in what your body needs. So you add in the fiber, you add in the protein, but you still eat what you want. So like for me, I am a big breakfast person. I love pancakes, waffles. So I do like protein waffles or protein pancakes with fruit to add in that fiber, as well as get your natural sugars in, and then adding like Greek yogurt in again to get that protein. So that way you're fueled properly to get a good start on your day, and it really helps your mind stay focused. And through all of that knowledge, I was able to kind of use it to take away for like parenting, and so I can share that knowledge with Avery going forward of this is how we feel properly. It's not just because I said so or the society said so. It's about how do you feel, and listening to your body of what do we need, what does your body need to feel ready to start the day.
Absolutely.
So since you've been so focused on how to implement wellness into Stansell, what was your journey and how did you want it to get started?
Yeah, for sure. Implementing wellness into my life now is a lot harder than when I was growing up as a soccer player. Like, the dedication and the commitment is there. Like, you know how to properly exercise, fuel your body, all those things. But then you transfer it to, working all day, having a family, having other priorities outside of work, and how do you balance, taking care of yourself within all of that?
Mhm.
That's been my biggest journey. I am very diligent on waking up at 5 a.m. and working out. I've always been that person since I was a teenager in soccer and all that stuff. And so I can continue doing that because if I show up for myself, I can show up for others.
Mhm.
But I've been very bad about sleep. And, if I don't get a good night's sleep, I still wake up and I work out extra early and then I still go about my day. So now this year, my intention is to sleep more so I can have
Mhm.
more energy. So that looks like trying to get to bed earlier, maybe do my workout after work. Oh, it's so hard. I don't usually don't have energy to do it, but I try. And just kind of putting myself first a little bit more because running a business, having all the things, it can be hard to prioritize. So I'm definitely working on that.
Yeah, well, 150 people need you to run a great
I know.
company, so,
I
but I think
know.
that's a great point because, while we're both focused on wellness, I think wellness looks a little bit different for us,
For
right?
sure.
So for you, it's more about mental focus and about how
Mhm.
we feel inside here rather than fueling our body because you know how to do that already.
Right. Right,
But
for sure.
what you've learned is that you have to reset and you have to take the time for yourself in
Absolutely.
order for everything else to fall into place.
Yeah, for sure. And different people will relate to both of us in some kind of way,
Yes.
But for someone that's just starting out, let's say they were similar to your position,
Mhm.
what's the biggest piece of advice you would give them?
Yeah, I think just starting so slow and starting as small as you can.
Mm.
Because again, changing your diet immediately to chicken, rice, kale is not going to
Yeah,
be sustainable for the
right.
rest of your life. Focusing on just making little changes, as like I said, just adding a little bit more protein to stay
Mhm.
fuller longer,
Mhm.
or just making swaps from soda to water,
Mhm.
less caffeine intake, so that way you're not focused on when's my caffeine coming, when's those
Mhm.
headaches that come too.
Yeah.
But starting as slow as you can. But I definitely think that changing that into your diet makes a big impact on just how you feel, your energy
Yeah.
levels. And it's really easy to incorporate, especially with, our supers on the road.
Mhm.
Um, you know, you can't always just stop for a home cooked meal, but there are options that with our partners, our clients,
Mhm.
that there are available.
Yeah.
Switching to grilled chicken, switching from, again, regular full sugar soda to even diet soda if they need that, or
Yeah.
water. Or if you stop at a grocery store, there's meals for one with like
Mhm.
asparagus, veggies, whatever you need.
Yeah.
And just doing those small steps. And again, just changing one meal a day makes all the difference. And then it makes you want to continue to feel better.
Yeah, for sure. You don't even know how good you can feel until you start doing it.
Yes. And
Like
then
you
you kind of
yeah.
crave it more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then once you start seeing the weight come down too,
Yes.
you're like, "Oh my God, this is
I
worth
can
it."
do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So we talk about, the superintendents in the field, there's 70 of them and
Mm-hmm.
it's growing.
Yes.
And it's not easy to eat healthy on the road,
No.
but we do offer free things at Stansell, free
Yes.
resources, benefits. Can you chat a little bit about that?
Yes, so we have wonderful free resources. So what Stansell does is we provide WellHub
Mhm.
as well as the Flourish Group. So with WellHub, it's a free app that offers not only just gym subscriptions that you can walk into any gym that's near you, which is very convenient for our supers that are in many different states.
Mhm.
So it's whatever gym is closest.
Yeah.
Whether if it's an EOS or if it's a Crunch Fitness or a Planet Fitness, whatever's closest to them.
Mhm.
But there's also more resources than that on WellHub. It's about nutrition, it's about coaching, it's about small exercises that you can add into
Yeah.
your workday. It's also about meditation, which I'm
Mhm.
sure you guys have heard the Flourish Group talk about over and over again. But it is a big part of mental wellness as
Yeah.
well too, because like you said, the construction industry is lower on the mental wellness side,
Mhm.
even though it's the highest rate that we should be
Mhm.
worrying about.
Mhm.
So meditation and adding that into just 5 minutes each day,
Mhm.
and like for you, like adding in sleep,
Mhm.
sleep aids of, listening to bedtime stories of, helping your mind kind of turn off because we
Mhm.
have so much to worry about with executing with urgency.
Yeah.
But we do have to shut our brains off and be there
Mhm.
for our families and ourselves. And
Yeah.
WellHub is such a good resource for all of that.
Yeah.
Um, And the Flourish Group, they have their guidebooks, their workshops that they work through, their wellness week that they put on for
Yeah.
us. And even Gina provides one coaching lesson for each person to outline what your goals are,
Mhm.
as well as where you want to take yourself. What do you want to do? What should your focuses be? And she kind of
Yeah.
points you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting to see how this has evolved, our wellness program, and just because it's a free resource to everybody, highly encourage everyone to just try it. Do your free what do you call that with Gina?
Coaching.
A free coaching session with Gina. Download WellHub. Just look at it. You have
Mhm.
7 days before it charges us, so look through it and see if it works for you. But there's so many things that I mean,
Yes.
and we're here to help in that journey. And we're actually on the same journey too.
Mhm.
So you're not alone in that. As we move into 2025,
Mhm.
what does our wellness program look like this year?
Yeah, so there's a lot of exciting things. Number one is that if you guys didn't know, it used to just be me and Angelica.
Hmm.
And as you guys all know, she's a CEO and she has a lot more responsibilities, but still pulsing through the wellness program. But what we have added is we have added Cam Frederker
Hmm.
and Justine Roberts to the team. That way we can share more resources more frequently and
Hmm.
more abundantly as well too.
Hmm.
So the Flourish Group has a lot of good stuff planned
Hmm.
specifically for quarter one. While we're recording this, we have a webinar coming out this week to get started on a new year, new you, fresh goals.
Yeah.
And it comes with a guidebook as well too for written resources. And then for January, we have a 21-day power habit challenge. So it's not even the full month. It's just 21 days, and it's just about changing your habits into little things that you can incorporate throughout your daily life. We also created a wellness channel through our Microsoft Teams that we're going to
Yeah.
add everyone to as well.
Yeah.
So those resources will all be in one place to be able to look at and share stories too, which is awesome.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
WellHub has their own initiatives as well too, just for extra resources, extra knowledge, information, whatever can help anyone.
Yeah. So you'll be hearing from Hayley, Justine, Cam,
Mhm.
myself throughout the year. And if you have any questions or you want more resources or have anything specific you want, please just let us know. I mean, we're
Mhm.
all ears. This is crafted for the Stansell family. This is not for me or Hayley. This is for everybody. So if there's anything that you need, just please let us know. But this has been very wonderful.
Yes.
It's nice to have someone here. Recording by yourself is not as fun. Um, but I mean, what Haley shared about, the small steps that she took, I think that's a great story on how it doesn't have to be huge. And every little step makes a huge impact.
Mhm.
And I just want to reiterate that, like, this wellness program, what we're talking about today, is for you because we care about you as an individual, not for the success of Stansell, but for you and for your families. And we all know that how you treat your body, movement, eating, hydration, sleep, that impacts how you perform. And of
Mhm.
course, we want you to perform well, but we need you to be a good human and
Not be grumpy to
not be
clients.
grumpy and just function really well. So that's really the intentions here. But Haley, thank you so much for
Of
being
course.
here. Let's go and execute with urgency in a very healthy and positive way. But that will conclude episode number 2. Thank you all so much, and we'll talk soon.